shell from the ocean, shining in the sun.
Hi, Dad. Surprise! And this is, look, only a very, very small collection of all the people that I know must mean a lot to you and you to them. But it's sort of a recreation of the 70th birthday, surprise birthday we did for you 10 years prior. Bob and Maree Welsh, they do send their love and best wishes. They had everything teed up. He was having conniptions about how to join because he was a first-time Zoomer, but they have had, unfortunately, some family issues, which meant they couldn't join at the last minute. For the sake of my cousin Sammy, everybody, he's down there on my screen underneath me. This is my cousin Sam Dube, all the way from Canada. Thank you for getting up at what I think is 6 o'clock in the morning, your time. I do appreciate that. Sam, just a quick, we've passed that already. Just a quick introduction. We've got here, you can see Karin and Rob Swan. They are Dad's very close old friends, as you're getting an idea of. We've got my gang here. Over to this side, down there, we've got the Birkholzes, who I'm sure you are aware of. And right down at my bottom screen anyway is David and Jan Brady, all the way from Queensland, who again, know Dad from work back in the James Hardy days, I think it was, wasn't it, Dave? And way
That's
back.
correct.
No, not from Perth.
I'll let you all do that. So, yeah, no, if anybody wants to talk, I tell my kids, put your hands up so we don't all talk. I'll shut up now. So please, you know, share and care. Sammy.
So I'm representing Uncle Joe's sister, Vivian Dube, in Canada, and she's a little bit tech worry and COVID afraid. So I actually haven't interacted with her physically since February, despite the fact that her and my father live only 10 minutes from me. So she sends her birthday wishes and her love. And so I'm representing my mother and my brother and his family as well. My younger brother, who's probably still sleeping right now, and my two nieces, Gypsy. So I have a niece. My brother has two daughters, Saren, who's 14, and Tegan, who's 18. Like, I believe you're 18 as well. Is that correct, Gypsy?
No.
Not yet.
She thinks she's
not yet.
She's
almost there. Okay.
So
Tegan just started university in commerce, and it's all online. It's all online. And the irony is, I actually I TA'd the math course that she's in right now, and I haven't heard a peep from her about needing any help. So so I'm just waiting. But she's particularly good at math, so I don't think so. But they all send their best. So I'm representing a clan over here on this side. All right. And it's my warm my greetings to everyone, and especially to you, Megan Ann, who we did speak once, I think, on the phone when your sister and I were about 14 or 15. I think I was in Toronto with my brother and my family visiting, and your father and mother came, if I remember correctly, and then we called your place, and all I remember is my two sweet cousins with the high-pitched voices and Australian accents.
I do remember that. In fact, I think it was around Christmas Eve. It might have been around Christmas that Mum and Dad came over and stayed with Uncle Alma.
I don't remember exactly when it was. I won't debate you on that, but that's when I first met your parents, and we had a great time. Your father especially, and my brother and I, we hit it off like three old buddies, you know. Whereupon your father sent us a girly calendar for Christmas, much to my mother's chagrin. Yes.
I got one of those.
Yeah.
Can I just go back in time?
Okay.
Back to 1961. There we are. And that looks better than this one.
Yeah.
And there's Joe.
There's Dad.
Can you see that there?
Yes.
Yes, I think I've seen that photo before, actually.
And so if we go over here, we've got Dave Short on guitar, Joe Zee on drums, on rhythm guitar, Russell Britton on sax, yours truly on drums at 16 years of age, Terry Haggard on trumpet. And the historical note there is when Joe presented this photo to me not so long ago, only a few years ago. He digitized all his photos. And I said to Joe, how did I get to join this band? And he said, we had just lost our drummer. He just left this group and gone off somewhere else. And I said, what was the name of that drummer? And you're waiting for it?
Yes.
The name of the drummer that left the group and I replaced was Colin Peterson. Now, Colin Peterson left the group because he went off with 3 boys that he went to school with in Redcliffe, and they became the Bee Gees.
Yeah.
So there you are. So there you are.
Wow.
Wow.
Anyhow, that looks a lot better than what it does now.
Handsome man on my left is Imad, my husband.
Hello, Imad. Nice to finally meet you.
Yeah. And here are the twins. This is Matilda and
Hi,
William.
Matilda.
Well,
Hi,
they're
William.
They're 14 as well. They just turned 14.
So I guess technically Matilda and William. So, and Gypsy, I am not your uncle. I am your first cousin once removed.
Yes.
That would be your second cousin. Is that right?
No.
No.
No, the once removal is a generation, and you and I, Megan Ann and Dimitri, we're first cousins.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's once removed because of the generation. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there
So
you
we're
go.
actually pretty close. Yeah, no.
Sam, just confirm you're in Vancouver.
No, I'm in Ottawa, the capital.
Oh, right. Okay.
Canada's like Australia. It's just so big, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
I
guys,
love
I mean, Queensland is nothing compared to, Canada distance, right?
Oh, got
I
that.
was talking to a friend in Queensland via Zoom just the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he was lamenting how dark it was and how he had to do shift work and he had to go.
Well, at least when you have a big country, you can go driving maybe in the safety of your own car against COVID. We're going a little stir crazy here in Singapore because you drive for 10 minutes, you're at the other side of the island.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's right. You're in Singapore. I forgot about
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
so-
no, we drive yesterday I did a presentation in a town an hour away from Ottawa. And, it took me an hour to get there. I talked for 2 hours and an hour to drive back.
Yeah.
And that's pretty normal. That's pretty normal here.
Talking about driving, one of my happiest memories, well, first of all, as I mentioned before, I've known Joe since I was 16 years of age. And in Queensland, you don't get a driver's license till 17. So I've known him since before I got my driver's license. And one of my memories is driving from Cairns up to Port Douglas on that windy Cook Highway, and Joe teaching me some driving techniques.
Wow.
And anyhow, what's really nice is since that time, of course, he must have taught me reasonably well because Karin and I, we went to kindergarten together. We grew up in Brisbane together. And since that time, with all that driving experience that Joe taught me, we've now managed to tick off being able to say that we've driven across the roads of all 50 of the American states.
Oh,
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. My
I haven't done
goodness.
that.
Yeah,
That's
so,
huge
yeah.
because America's huge.
Yes.
I know.
But
Yeah.
we did it at different times. Yes.
Oh,
we haven't
okay.
done it at one time.
I thought, gee, Rob, you've been busy in these last 10 years.
Very busy. We're so busy in retirement, we can't wait to retire from retirement.
And where are you? Are you in Brizzy or you're up in Noosa?
We're in Noosa now. Yeah.
Oh,
You
nice.
would not know there was COVID here in Noosa, in this part of Queensland. Everyone is out and about. There's no social distancing. The place is humming because it's been school holidays for all the Queenslanders.
A long haul.
Unbelievable. I hate to think what it's going to be like when we have the Victorians coming back and the New South Welshmen. It's absolutely amazing. So-
And sadly, because of COVID, of course, we can't get together with Joe for his 80th birthday. So I guess we've got to sing happy birthday to him. I wish him happy birthday for his 80th birthday. What's going to actually happen for his birthday?
Well, we've so far, I tried to coerce him into going out to a lunch. We wanted to do something special by the harbour side, the marine side, to sort of recreate some of their happier memories. They love going cruising, as you all well know. And unfortunately, their latest cruise, it was due in next month to celebrate Dad's birthday as well, belatedly, that has been cancelled. So they're not sure when they'll get to see again. We're all going a little stir crazy because we want to go sailing as well. But no, he very much wanted to spend time with the whole complete group, the whole entire family. And unfortunately, unless you say that you're having a football match these days and you can invite thousands, you cannot still. So even though some of our restrictions have been lifted. Rather too late, but Marty and I came up with this idea that why not we just invite, some people as the last surprise and have it as a surprise that it can still be in his lounge room when we anticipate to record this and have him see it. So a surprise again.
Oh, lovely. Lovely.
Yeah, we're just going to, actually for Sammy, we're going to play it really low key. We're actually having him over for lunch, and they requested, because they love when I cook for them, and I said, I want to go, I bring out all the good Chinaware, and he goes, no, can we have chicken wings? I went, what? And he goes, yeah, just like KFC. And I went, what? And he goes, yeah, zinger ones. He likes the hot and spicy chicken wings. And I said, but at your age, doesn't that make you sick? Do you really want to do that? And he goes, yeah, that's all we want, don't we, Mum? So
KFC
chicken wings.
chicken wings.
Hey?
KFC chicken wings.
Yep.
Yes.
KFC chicken wings.
Really?
You can't say finger licking good anymore, I hear.
Pardon
They've
me?
banned the advertising for finger licking good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Really?
We'll have knives and forks. Yeah. Yes, Dave. Hello.
Right.
Thank you.
Well, as you two girls would know, Dimity and Megan, we go back with Joe many, many years. You two weren't born then, but we...
about 1964, probably.
Yeah.
Not about 1964. Or for me, earlier, because I worked at Hardy's with Joe a few years before, and then David came and started work in 64. And we can actually say that Joe was a bit of a matchmaker, trying to get on.
Oh.
He played Cupid.
I'll never forgive him for that.
That. Oh.
So we've had a lot of good times together in his old V-Dub. We used to usually hook up on a Friday night and have dinner at one another's place and play poker and all that sort of stuff. And we've had a lot of good times with Isabel and Joe. We went on a trip one year, and when they were living in Townsville, and we had a holiday with them there. And we had this nightmare trip that he took us over to Green Island.
No, not Green.
Yes, it was Green
No,
Island.
Magnetic.
Oh, it might have been Magnetic.
Townsville, yes.
And then we went on a road trip with them up to Cairns as well. And it was quite funny. The day we went out to the island, on the way home, it was so rough. And Joe was just sitting there. You know how meticulous he is about everything. And he's just sitting there with his eyes closed. It was very rough, and he was just letting the sea spray, come across him. And the next minute, a teenager was going right this, and he ran to the side of the boat, and all the sick came back onto your father. And here he was sitting there. He thought he was enjoying the spray.
Potato chips all over his glass.
He had potato chips all over his face. And because we saw the kid run, and your mum and David and I ducked behind the bench, so we missed it. But your father copped a lot. Well, we got home. You can imagine him. We got home to the hotel, and he was so angry and so upset. And he hopped under the shower, fully dressed, and showered off. And the next minute, there's a knock on the door, and your mother comes in to our motel room, and she's in hysterics, and she tells us that Joe was so mad that he stood in the shower and fully clothed and showered off, and then he got out of the shower, and you know how he loves Rolex watches?
Yeah.
So he takes off his Rolex watch and he's polishing up his Rolex watch, and he was so angry, he threw the Rolex, instead of throwing the tissue in the toilet, he threw his Rolex in the toilet. And have a guess who had to pull it out?
Mum.
Yeah. She had to dip it. He wouldn't take it out. She had to get it out. And
Oh,
then none of us in hysterics. She came in. She just collapsed across the bed, and we laughed and laughed and laughed. So we had some good times together.
It doesn't seem like this is Joe's 80th, and it only seems like a couple of years ago where it is 70th down in
70th.
I think in Southport. Yeah. And yeah.
Doesn't it,
So
Marty?
time certainly flies the older you get.
Yes.
Yes.
Found we're in the throes of selling our property here on top of Budrum
Yes. So
and
I hear.
going to a 50s retirement village in Budrum, Halcyon. One visit there was with the girls. When
Yeah. Can you
I
remember?
come and stayed at Matilda there, and I think a cyclone.
And you couldn't get home
You
again.
couldn't get home again.
And
We
you-
had to put up with a lot of you for about 2 weeks.
I
In a
don't
little
think
flat.
driving in floodwaters.
Yes.
Yeah, it was flooded,
And
and
I
they you couldn't get back to Townsville. So they ended up staying almost a week, I think, it was extra with us. Yeah,
I think that was my link with
you're only tiny though.
You might not remember us, but I think we've been in a photo together and we've stood on your balcony and, you know, we looked over the tennis courts.
Yeah,
Like that. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's his only recollection of us too. But of course, I wouldn't know him now face to face,
Yeah.
but well, I would, because I've tracked down every single photo of his. So,
Yeah.
but no, while I've got you all here, don't panic. What I'm going to try and attempt to do is what we call a share screen on Zoom, Dave and Jan. Megan and Sammy are probably well used to this. And I wanted to just show you because Bob did send me some photos that he just wanted to share quickly. One I think you've already seen. So just bear with me while I get this up on the share screen. Okay. So I don't know if you can see those there. Let me just click onto them. Let's see.
Oh yeah, that was the
Yes.
80th birthday. Yep, 70th.
There, can you see that?
Oh,
I haven't opened the photo properly. Let me see if I can. There we go. Look at those good looking couple. Now he tells me that's in the early 60s, I think. I know they got married in 1963. This was in Auchenflower in Brisbane.
That's where the twins were born, at Auchenflower.
Pardon me?
Yeah, no, we can remember going there to their
Yes.
little place.
And I was with Joe the night he met Isabel.
Oh, tell us about that. Oh,
Well, we played at a gig, and Dave Short, whose photo you saw in the band, said, "Come on, there's a party at this house." We went back to this party in a house in Clayfield, and Isabel was there,
I think
and they got and the rest, as you know, is history.
yeah.
And it only said
Wow.
that we were in Hong Kong, and Liberty and Martin were walking along there, and the next minute they announced their engagement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Go with your photos. Keep going with your
No,
photos. The
I
next
will
one.
go with the photos. I'm just showing you. This is Bob and Maree, and of course there's Jan and Dave.
Oh, hold on, we're still on the other picture.
Why are you on the other picture?
We're
Yeah.
still the one of Mum and Dad at Auchenflower.
Hang on.
Yeah.
New share. Okay, hang on. Let's see if I can go back. I don't know why
He
that.
looks like a rock star there, doesn't he?
Just turn this thing.
Mum's very Audrey Hepburnish, isn't she?
I see where my brother is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's that.
True.
This was the Leonard's Hotel one. Can you see? Hang on. Can you see that one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
See Dad in there. My screen's not share screening properly.
Yeah. See that? Yep.
This one.
Yeah.
So there's Dave. There's Bob Welsh, and that was my Sammy.
Yeah, that's my granddad.
That's
That's my grandma.
granddad. That's Auntie Isabel there. All right. Do you want me to hang on? Let me open that for you. Okay. Hang on. So
Is that Auntie Margaret?
yeah, that's Auntie Margaret there. That's Auntie Margaret. Sammy, that's my Grandma McCosker, Granddad McCosker. He was
I
on.
think your squiggles are off, too.
That's sorry. I'm just, yeah, okay, sorry, I'm just got the pencil. And that's Auntie Helen, Dad, and that was Bob. So that I think was in that was one of the first visits, I think, to Granddad's farm up at Brayhead when they went up to Mapleton. Let me see if I can, isn't this exciting?
Just while you're there, Bob Welsh, what did he do? I know the name pretty well.
Actually, I can't remember, Dave. They've known each other for ages. I don't know if it was a work connection or
You
not.
went to uni with him, didn't he?
Oh, yes, sorry. I think that was it. Hang on, let me go back into the photos, the other photos. Hang on.
I think he was there.
Oh, there's Dad by the tennis courts in the back steps near uni. I don't have a uni photo. I do actually, bear with me. I'm going to do something sneaky, which is going to wreck something for Dad.
I've probably met him at some stage because the name seems quite familiar.
Look, you mentioned the VW.
Oh, the V-dub, yeah. He was proud of his V-dub.
Yeah. These were his uni days. These are.
You girls remember sitting on the seats there before you got in and had your shoes brushed?
Yes. You had to click your heels.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And don't squeak on the wooden floors.
Yeah. I'll show you one actually that I remember if I can get it back. This is, I'm doing a little bit of a thing, as you can see. Look, there's Dad in the band crooning. I kind of like that one.
There's a wedding photo, Dim Dim.
Pardon me?
Do the wedding photo.
Oh, the wedding.
Here we are.
Oh, look, I think that's
look at it.
Yeah, hang on, wedding photo. Oh, look at that, that's me.
Oh, lovely.
Baby.
Oh, look,
Wedding
Grandma made her wedding
photos.
dress.
I just wanted to see if I could get
Look how young they looked.
And I'm pleased to say that I went to the wedding.
Yes, I remember seeing you on the steps of the church.
I don't.
That's this one. Oh no, there's another one. Yeah.
Cousin Sam, you know,
That's Uncle Elmer.
Our uncle.
Yeah.
Uncle
Brother,
Elmer.
And there's
He did
and
come
there's
over
the
to
Woolsey.
wedding.
Can you pull up the Woolsey there? That's the one we
Woolsey,
drove from
yes.
Townsville to.
That one?
No, there's a Woolsey. If you go back, just slide it out again.
Yes,
Yeah.
hang on, slide it out. I did have the Wolseley. There it is. Look at that.
There it is. There it is. There.
I even labelled it.
And we used to put Joe would come round to our place, as I said, when I was 16 and I couldn't drive, and we'd put the drum kit in the back seat and we'd take it to gigs. And we used to do quite a few jobs around the university. We played what they called at homes. All the residential colleges like Duchesne, King's College, Women's College, we used to play their balls, their winter balls. It was one of the most fabulous times of my life doing that. It was really great fun. If someone was to grant me my one and only wish, it would be to get the band together and play another song.
And
wow.
Don't ever set me a challenge like that, Rob. Because
it'd be lovely. As I know at both your weddings, I know the song he played, Tiny Bubbles.
Tiny Bubbles.
Is that right?
Yes.
And my favourite song that he used to play was Pennies from Heaven.
Oh,
And
yes.
it's fantastic.
Yeah, he did sing that. And Sammy may not know this, but one of my fondest recollections of Dad, back when we lived in Townsville, before we moved to South Australia, to Adelaide there, is I used to get very confused with him and Dean Martin, because to me, he crooned like Dean Martin. And of course, he played those on the records all the time, you know, and Dad's voice back in the day, to me, was very much like that. I mean, he does have a beautiful timbre to his voice, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, it was beautiful. Just lovely. I'd love to go back and do it all again. And actually, as for music, I can't read music. I can't play any music apart from playing the drums. But one thing on the piano I could do, I could push middle C, because everyone else had to tune to middle C. I went to St. Peter's College in Indooroopilly, and a few years ago, or many years ago now, they called for donations to build a new performing arts centre. And one of the donations I made, I bought the key of the piano key of C on their great big piano. And so I made it in that way. And someone said, why did you buy middle C? And I said, because I used to press that when I was in the band with Joe Zee.
Oh. As you
Well, it seems there's a bit of a theme running through the dad stories, and that's cars, that's music, and then there's one other one which sort of gives away the gift a little bit of what we've arranged for Dad, which hopefully he'll get sometime this week coming up. But one of my earliest memories, or one of the memories that I have, was up in Townsville when we had the split level houses, and we were underneath in the bottom, and we'd sit on, I don't know where we were, but we'd sit outside because there was a bit of a breeze, and Dad teaching me how to sing Pearly Shells. That was another one that he taught. And Mum was actually, and the kids won't know this, but Mum would sing along. Mum had actually not a bad accompanying voice. And I think Dad was playing the guitar, and Mum was recording on the cassette player. And as recent as up in Queensland, I heard that recording again. And Dimmy and I are sitting there with these very, very, well, you know, you could play cricket on our pitch. It was very flat, but we were singing Pearly Shells with Dad, and that was one of the things I remember. And then my car memory of Dad, how I used to connect with Dad, was really with the long drives we used to have in Adelaide. Do you remember that, Dim? And if we'd get bored, we'd jump in the car.
Yep.
And this is for real. We'd get in the car and we'd go for a drive. And you know, in Australia, you go for a drive a bit like Canada. And we used to go out to Clare, up to you know, where is it, Whyalla.
Roll, or for a pasty, wasn't it? We'd just go like to get a pasty.
Or for a raspberry split ice cream. You know, we'd drive for 3 hours and we'd stop at the corner store and get a raspberry split. Sometimes we took the pigeons with us and we'd let the pigeons go, and then they'd be home before us. But whenever we got in the car, we had to click our heels to get the dirt off. And we had to sit in the back, and Dad would get his cassette, which he'd pre-recorded. Do you remember this, Jim?
Oh,
he'd put it in the cassette player,
yes.
And he would be the pilot, Rob, from the airline, and he would say, fasten your seatbelt, observe the exits, and he'd do the whole pilot spiel. So that, do you remember that, Jim? Where he used to record?
Captain's
yeah, and it was quite fun.
Yeah, his car was his whole universe, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then we used to watch, one of my favourite memories with Dad is always watching it was called something different then, the Hardy's 500 or the James Hardy 500, you know, the Bathurst race. We'd be up at 5 a.m. in the morning watching the touring cars, and I used to love that. So I got my love of the car racing from Dad. And of course he was lucky enough, which I'm sure is a highlight of his life, to drive around Bathurst to Mount Panorama, and when he was with James Hardy. So yeah, used to love that.
Let me guess, when you had the ice creams there, I bet you had to eat them outside the car.
Oh God,
yeah. Yeah. It was a golden game time, or it was a raspberry split, and you had to, you had to eat it outside the car. But fair enough. That was like an aircraft.
Not allowed to move around too much because it creates dust and fluff, and dust and fluff wasn't good in the car either because that had to be removed. It gets on the dash, you understand. So no moving, no talking or anything. Just look at the view.
But we had great tunes on the cassette player. Yeah. Like Dad would always do tapes, like his mixes, I suppose you'd call them, and so we'd always play those. I thought that was. They're things that you remember. Yeah. They're things I remember. So, yeah.
Okay.
And I have
We're getting close to the time limit, are we? We should probably sing happy birthday.
We are, but if you're all, if you feel you have a bit more to say as well, I don't want to rush you at all because I have set up another link, and I have a feeling that Zoom lets me go over a little bit because it's blocked me in for an hour. But if it cuts us off, I've actually set up another link for those that want to say just a little bit more as well. And it doesn't matter of the the chronological order of it, because Marty is he edits all our home movies and he can chop and change and beautify you, so he it doesn't matter what you say in what order. But we
put the beauty filter on, Marty.
Hey?
put the beauty filter on, take a few of them.
Are you saying me to put the beauty filter on, or for you to put the beauty filter on?
Yeah,
No,
you need to Photoshop out the lines.
Well, we'll just wish Joe a great 80th birthday. Mine's coming up next year, so
Yes.
and wish him all the very best. And his
They've been great friends. We
great
don't
wife.
we don't see one another enough, but it's this friendship that it's like it was yesterday when we do get together, and you know, we can sort of always just pick up the conversation where we left off.
Yeah, a lot of fun memories.
A lot of fun memories.
That's
And
we
we just like to raise our glasses to Joe and say,
Yes.
yeah, great.
This is a great concept, I think, because the 70th, we had to buy a present. We haven't tonight.
Well, of course, Karin and I'd like to wish Joe a very happy 80th birthday. Joe, as you well know, you're one of my special friends. To have a friendship with someone for over 60 years is really special. And it's really lovely to be involved in this celebration with his 80th birthday. And we say, cheers, Joe. Happy 80th birthday.
Yes, happy
But
80th birthday,
I'll have to
Joe.
put my birthday cap
put your
on.
birthday hat.
There you are.
Happy birthday, Joe.
Would
Happy
everybody
birthday.
like to
No one,
sing along?
you want to say something?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, the cousin haven't said anything.
Karin was going to say, what were you going to say?
You would say
Okay.
something to
We're saying
Granddad.
happy birthday. I don't know.
Can't Tilly, Willie? You going to say something?
Lily, what would you like to say? Would you like to introduce Pecky? Very shy. This is Pecky. Pecky's got that was
Took off.
Okay, Becky.
Let's go out the window.
You're actually Granddad.
You're a really great Granddad.
You're going to miss him, aren't
Yeah.
Why are you going to miss him? Where's what?
you? We're not there, Jim.
Right, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
So
are.
I'll say something. So Dad, although we can't be there, I hope it doesn't really stop you celebrating, you know, the momentous occasion. It's quite an innings that you've had. We'll be thinking of you, so we're not really that far away because you'll be in our hearts on the day. We hope that sometime this week all things go to plan and you'll receive, that's the bird, sorry. You'll receive our present, which we put a lot of love and thought in, and it's actually when you get it, you'll understand it's quite a personal gift, and something that we hope that you enjoy, that you savor, and you'll understand when you get it, or hopefully you've got it by the time you're looking at this video. So, Dad, with all of our love from Singapore, happy 80th birthday. The kids really wish they were there with you and they're too shy to say it, but it's true. What do you want to say?
Happy birthday, Granddad.
Sounds like your mum now, doesn't it?
Happy birthday, Joseph.
Yeah.
Wishing you all the best on your 80th birthday.
All our love.
Yes, happy birthday, Joe.
Yes,
Love you,
happy
mate.
birthday, Joe.
Mummy, would you
Can
like
we
to
all
say
sing?
something?
Yeah.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Uncle Joe.
Yeah.
I think Gypsy should lead the song.
Yeah, Gypsy.
Happy birthday. Come on, Gypsy. We haven't heard from you yet.
Gypsy apparently sings as well as Megan and I reckon we sing. So, so anyway, on the count of three then, shall we give it a go, everybody? You ready?
Yeah, why not?
Sure, sure.
Well, Rob should be able to count me in. You're the band person. And like Dad, another similarity.
Sorry, can I just interrupt? Rob, can you give us a C, please?
Give us a C.
Oh, C.
That's middle C.
All right, you count us in. You're being the bad person. Go on then, like old times. Rob?
1,
You
2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joseph. Happy birthday to you. Hip, hip.
Hooray!
Hip, hip.
Hooray!
Go.
Hooray!
Good job.
These are really hard.
Happy birthday, Joe.
Now, Rob, you was something that you had made recently for recording your flight thing or something. Can you talk us through that? Or
Well, I was lucky enough to be flying into Hong Kong, the old airport in Kai Tak, on the very last day of that airport. And the first officer I was flying with came along with a video camera and he filmed it. And I made a presentation to a group of people, and the next thing, word spread round. So I've done several presentations to Probus groups here in this area and in Brisbane. And I started off, I go through my career where I learnt to fly in Brisbane at Archerfield. And I go back before that, and I say, I didn't do too well at school. I didn't get enough marks to go to university. And the reason why? Because I played in a band. And I bring both in the band. And,
Wow.
and then go through the rest of the career, and then end up with this video of landing at Kai Tak on the last day of that airport on July the 5th, 1998.
wow.
And so it's a great presentation. Yeah.
We'll get to watch it.
Well, do you remember, Rob, that day that you were checking into the Hilton in Adelaide?
Very much.
And I remember Dad telling me all about this guy played the drums in his band, and now he was a pilot. And I vaguely remember Swan, that part of the name. So when I saw you on the Tech Crew manifest, and I rang Dad. I said, "Hey Dad, what was the name of the guy who used to play in your band?" Because I don't think he knew you were transiting through Adelaide. And then remember I came up to you and I said, "You probably don't know me, but I think he used to play in a band with my dad." And I think you recognised me straight away.
What happened is I was overnighting in Adelaide. I was temporarily based in Australia, and I had an overnight in Adelaide, and the very next day we were crewing the flight Adelaide, Melbourne, Hong Kong. Yeah. And Karin rang me in the hotel. I think it was before the days of mobile phones. And she rang me in the hotel and had to go through the switchboard and had to go through Megan. And so I'd no sooner put the phone down and I got this call from the switchboard. "Hello, you, Rob Swan? Would you happen to know Joseph Zee?" I certainly did. I hope you weren't listening to my call as I was giving all these lovely words to my wife. And I listened to every one of them. That's why I knew it was you.
Oh, no, I didn't do that.
Yes, Sammy.
Dimity, I sent you an email, and I sent it to myself of a photo of my mother and your father. But I haven't received it yet, and I think my connection is not good. I wonder if you could just check your email.
Okay. You should be able to bring that up for us.
Can you see that? I'm screen sharing now. I have this on my screen. Let's see.
I can't.
Not yet.
Hold on. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
It's starting.
So this is my mom holding Uncle Joe.
Wow.
In Shanghai.
And that's where all our babies' little baby cheeks come from.
Yeah, but that's unmistakably Uncle Joe and my mom, though. Like,
yeah, the eyebrows. It's the eyebrows that give it away.
It's the attitude.
Yeah, and the cheeks.
It's the rock star attitude. All he needs is the sunglasses and the picture's complete, you know? But I know Dimity has probably seen this photo before because Dimity sent me some beautiful photos from her trips, and Megan Ann as well, to Shanghai, I believe. And they recovered a lot of photos. So I've kept them in such a safe place. I had difficulty finding them, actually. I thought this was a classic photo here.
Excellent.
It does look like William a little bit. So how old would Dad have been
then? That's like 80 years ago.
Right.
Eh?
He would have been about 1 there? Is that sound about?
So that's like 79, 80 years ago.
Wow.
My mom's 83.
Wow. It's a very different Shanghai now.
Yes.
I've never been.
Do you have any more, Sammy?
Not with Uncle Joe in them, but a few others with my mom when she was younger, and one with Auntie Anne.
Oh yes.
But yeah, I'm trying to keep
If
the
I
focus
may.
on-
Sam, can you send those pictures via email?
No, I've got them.
Have you?
Yeah. Sam, I'm just going to.
Yes.
you sharing because I just love to dominate. And
Oh, sorry about that. My bad.
you know, no, that's okay. That's cool because I want to show you something here. Look, there you are. Yeah, can you see that?
Yes.
And hang on, where's another one of baby dad?
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
oh my goodness.
Oh, you gotta, did you send me these? You've got to send me these.
Yeah, these are actually archived that I have. And I think that's dad there, is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
That is, and that's Auntie Anne on the far right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is.
And this would be Uncle Elmer in the middle.
Particularly nice one. Yeah.
That's it. That's my grandma.
Yes.
And this is
My
Uncle
grandma.
Joe, second from right on the bottom. That's Uncle Joe, I believe.
Hang on. Let me,
And that's my mom in the middle, bottom row.
hang on. Let's
Yes.
open that for you. Oh, hang on. Sorry. Can you see that now? Can you still see that?
Yeah.
We're looking at the one sitting down.
Yes. So let's have a look. I don't know if you can you annotate, annotate as well, Sammy?
What would you like me to do?
This is, you draw on it. So that's dad there. Yeah.
On the far left?
Are we looking at the same photo?
No.
No,
I'm
I
looking
don't
at-
think we are. We're on Baby Dad Shanghai 2, close up.
Oh, sorry. Okay. What about this one? Can you see that?
Okay.
Yeah, that's the photo it's blown up, and we were looking at the bottom row, the
Yeah.
four on the left.
I
the
took
bottom row.
another screenshot. I'll tell you what I do like. This. Do you recognize this? Oh, sorry. This one.
Yes.
This is
Yeah.
one of now, just for Robin and Dave and Jan and everyone and Karen, this is the house. Is this correct, Sam? That is our grandfather Zee, great grandfather, grew up in. And that's in Shanghai. And whilst we were in Shanghai quite a few years ago, we tracked this down. Dad couldn't remember where it was. And it is now like a childcare centre, kindergarten. And we actually tracked it down and we recognized it from these arched windows and everything. And it was quite a moving find.
And Jimmy,
that it still exists. Yes.
to add to that story, if you want to hear something truly bizarre,
Yes.
following that trip, I shared the picture of this house and the kindergarten as it is now with a work colleague. He's a New Zealander actually, but he lived for 4 years in Shanghai and had both of his children were born in Shanghai. And when I showed him the picture and the picture of the kindergarten or the little school that it is today, he said, "That's the school that my son goes to."
Oh,
And that was the school. Can you believe it? Talk
What are
about
the
8 degrees
chances
of
of that?
separation. I know. And I said, "Are you sure?" And he studied it and studied it. And that was John. And can you believe it or not?
no.
Isn't that bizarre?
6 degrees of separation. We're all related. Yeah. That's amazing.
What are the chances?
I know.
I know. It was absolutely bizarre. But, yeah, those are great pictures, Jim.
Thank you. Well, there's more, and that's the thing. I'm a fastidious picture taker, and I realised, oh my gosh, 80 years worth of collections of things. It's quite considerable, but I absolutely adore going through all of that. And I'll tell you all one thing too. Talking and listening to you all, and I haven't known you as long or as intimately as my father has, but and looking at everything from those decades of his life. He was quite a character, and I see more. A daughter only sees a father a certain way because they must, the way that relationship. But when you see the man before he was married, before or while he was, early days, and the cheek and the joviality, and then the underlying kindness and the work ethic, there's a lot of different components to a person. And I think that's been truly joyful to discover when I've been going through these photos. So, yeah.
And I think Dad's very lucky to have you all there in his life with him and to know him from what made him the person that he is today. So for David and Jan and Karen and Rob, he's very lucky, and you're very lucky to have each other after all these years. That is just wonderful.
And if I was to think of one word about Joe, I'd say honourable. Absolutely honourable.
Yes.
Just always been like that.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful friend.
That's really.
Can I just say?
Yes, sorry, Jan.
Can I just say something? Joe, many years ago, told us the story about how he came to Australia as a 12-year-old, and he arrived in, I think it was Sydney, and then there was a carer there to put him on a train that sent him to Armidale, and he always paints this picture of this 12-year-old done up. He had his umbrella, his bag, and it just sounded so like how brave of him to come all that way. Obviously, probably couldn't speak English. Somebody to meet him, and then he was in a boarding school, and you know, it's just incredible that he survived. You know, such a lonely time. But I always have this mental picture of him, you know, lonely on the train station with his umbrella. He painted the picture with his umbrella and his little port, and it was very brave of him. And he's forged a wonderful life for himself in Australia, and it's to be commended. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's an interesting way to sum it up, because I was looking at one of the newspaper articles when he was actually last made retrenched or made redundant in one of the last jobs that he did, and they described him as an officer, and actually it was his retirement time, around retirement, and they described him as an officer and a gentleman, which you know, resonates with what you were saying, Rob. So that's quite extraordinary, isn't it? So yeah.
Lovely words.
Yeah. And it's good to see that he's still around for his age.
Yeah, that's a good milestone, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yes.
Well, Dimity, thank you for sharing with us. Absolutely fantastic to be here with all the family, to see you all. And Megan, it only seems like yesterday you were picking up a wheelbarrow and whatever from Mother's place as she moved out of the family home into a retirement home.
That's true. And you know, we still have that wheelbarrow. We grew strawberries in it.
So I think we will wind it up there before they kick us off. Thank you to all of you for coming to the party literally at such short notice as well. That's just tremendous. And especially you, Sam, crawl back into bed, do whatever you need to do to get on with your and that's a mammoth effort. And for everybody else staying up at this hour too, except Megu, who's like 2 hours behind, so that's cool. But you've all made an excellent effort, and I know Dad will really, really appreciate that. So my humble thanks to you all as well. Thank you.
It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, thanks to
Love
you.
you, Uncle Joe, Auntie Isabel.
Thank you.
Bye.
Happy birthday.
See you soon.
Thank you. Thank you,
Happy
Dimity,
birthday,
and for arranging this. Everyone here is family. Everybody.
Yes.
And when I see them, my